I am 37, have been with my fiance F37 for 2 years. We are getting married soon. I've only met her family a couple of times. My daughter Judy F16 has never met them till very recently, where they hosted dinner to celebrate 4th of July, and that's when they met her for the first time. Judy has a visible burn scar on her forehead. It was due to an accident she was in when she was 9. She used to be incredibly insecure about it, to the point where I was forced to homeschool her, and it was hard trying to deal with and navigate through this rough time. Now she's doing a lot better, though some comments can really cause her to become stressed out and anxious. My fiance knows all that and respects it. Before we went to her parents' house, I asked her to tell them about Judy and her struggle and get to try and not say anything negative about it or possibly mention it. She said she would guarantee no one will say anything. We got to the event and they talked to Judy and she slowly warmed up to them. Everything was going well till I was dinner time. My FMIL looked at Judy while she was eating and pointed at her scar, basically asking questions about it, which made Judy lose her appetite and start to get uncomfortable. I kept sending my fiance and her mom signs to knock it off, but to no avail. Finally, FMIL then brought up the wedding and asked my fiance if it would be possible to Photoshop the scar out of any wedding photos that will have Judy in them, just in case they distract viewers. I was dumbfounded. Fiance said nothing, just stared casually while nodding. I looked at Judy and it was clear this got to her. I leaned closer and asked if she was feeling uncomfortable and that we could leave if the answer was yes. She took her time, then nodded and said yes, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I got up and told her to get ready cause we were leaving. My fiance, her mom and the family started insisting we finish dinner and stay, but I refused. I took Judy and got in the car and left before even talking to my fiance. Obviously, she was pissed. She called and was angry, talking about how I disrespected her parents by taking Judy and leaving in the middle of dinner and not even saying goodbye. I told her that Judy was feeling uncomfortable with FMIL's comments and questions. She said Judy overreacted and is in need to go back to therapy if a simple mention of her scar caused her to react that way. I got tired of arguing and asked her to give us some time, but she went on me and said that I have no respect for her and her family and that what I did was irrational, and now she won't speak to me till I clear things up with her family after ruining their celebratory dinner. NTA. Never tar for removing your child from a situation where they are uncomfortable and marginalized by R. Edit to add, your fiance lacks empathy and basic respect for your daughter. Mega comment and sums it up in one. In fact, I think this comment should be put on a leaflet handed to new parents. NTA great parent. NTA. Sadly, you just got a glimpse on how your marital life is going to. Wife will make promises and then she and her family will just do/say whatever crass cruel thing they feel like. If this is how they are going to treat you daughter at first meeting, imagine how it will be later. If it were me, they could Photoshop the whole dang wedding. I did have several conversations with her about it. I'm now unsure of what else to do after what happened, honestly. NTA. And this is your problem right here. Before we went to her parents' house, I asked her to tell them about Judy and her struggle and get to try and not say anything negative about it or possibly mention it. She said she would guarantee no one will say anything. Why didn't your fiancé speak up and say something, especially after guaranteeing that no one would say anything? You need to have a serious talk with her about this. She should have been the one putting her mother in place. What your FMIL said beyond rude, especially the photoshopping comment. It sounds like your fiancé agrees with her family and their treatment of your daughter. Serious red flags here. That time to reevaluate this relationship. I know Reddit hates to immediately jump to break up, but honestly, how Op's fiancé and her family treated his daughter is repulsive. I would never let a stranger talk that way about my kid, let alone soon to be family. Your FMIL recommended *digitally altering your daughter's face in wedding photos to avoid distracting people, yet you're the one who disrespected her? Your fiancé should have stood up for you and your daughter. You're uncategorically NTA. In fact, you did a great thing in supporting your daughter. Not only that, but recommended more therapy when the daughter expressed/actioned her boundaries. NTA and your fiance's mother needs to apologize. Who points to someone, especially a child's face, and goes, wow, that scar is ugly, hope we can photoshop her face in the wedding photos. My fiance justified it as a joke, saying her mom didn't mean it that way and didn't know that this was going to happen. I disagree because I already told her about how Judy feels about it yet got ignored. She called and was angry, talking about how I disrespected her parents by taking Judy and leaving in the middle of dinner and not even saying goodbye. What about being angry that her parents pointed out asterisk 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 at the dinner table during their very first meeting asterisk 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 a feature on your daughter's face that happens to be a major insecurity and suggested to digitally alter it to better suit the photos? Like asterisk 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 WTF asterisk asterisk asterisk. If she really cannot see the issue here and is saying asterisk 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 you asterisk 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 are the one being disrespectful, you need to seriously consider that moving forward. NTA. Good for you for being there for your child. Agreed. The family is tar, and if your partner doesn't realize it and doesn't even wanna talk to you now, you need to really have a long thought about if you wanna spend your life with her. Your daughter always comes first, and you handled it the best way possible. NTA. NTA. But you will definitely be a giant asshole if you marry this woman who bullies your daughter and lets her parents do it too. And let's not forget downplays their behavior by referring to an interrogation around a sensitive subject, and horrible Photoshop comments is a mention. NTA. These women acted terribly. NTA. She wasn't just mentioning the scar. She was asking questions about it after being told not to talk about it at all. And it was beyond offensive to ask if it could be photoshopped out of wedding pics. The way he says she respond third makes me wonder if she said ANYTHIN / at all. I don't think she cares. NTA. You made it clear that the scar was a topic not to be discussed and they all ignored you. Might be worth rethinking your engagement. Oh, your fiance has shown her true colors. She doesn't in fact care about your daughter. If she did, she would have realized that your FMIL suggesting you photoshop out the scar so it doesn't distract is hella insulting. If I were you, I'd rethink the wedding and that family. They owe you and Judy the apology, not the other way around. NTA. Thank you for what you pointed out. I'm absolutely aware of this. NTA. Think carefully about marrying this woman. She's loving and supporting when around you and Judy. She isn't when she's with her family. She took their side when she shoulder stuck up for Judy. If she can flip sides that easily, there's a big problem. Definitely NTA. Your daughter comes first before unrelated extended family. You asked your fiancé to take care of it beforehand. She didn't. If she did talk to them beforehand, then your in-laws don't have respect for you or your daughter enough to respect your wishes. Your daughter is beautiful as she is and no one, repeat no one, has the right to humiliate her at her expense. If anything, your daughter will learn at therapy that respect starts at home and she should feel secure with her family and not uncomfortable. I find that disrespectful to you and your daughter. Clearly this needs to be resolved before the marriage. Who verbally attacks a 16-year-old for a scar? They're tar. Edit. Typo on he/she. I wonder what physical attributes the fiancé and mother may have that could casually ask about photoshopping out of wedding photos. Big nose, mole, flabby arms, horrible insensitivity and general awfulness. NTA. Don't marry this woman. If she won't stick up for your daughter and realize how insensitive her mother's comments were, then it doesn't sound like she's ready to be a stepmother. If I were you, I would put your daughter first. Classical story of are you sure you want to marry this person? You warned your fiancé, brought it up as a specific topic of concern. She encouraged you everything would be fine and then disregarded it completely. No attempts on her side to change the topic or stand up for your daughter. But hey, what you did is admirable, and it's great that your daughter has an ally in you. You do have a gaslighter fiancé though. NTA. But do not marry that woman. She will destroy your daughter's mental state. Utter NTA. Your fiancé made a commitment to you and your daughter, and it was completely ignored. I think you need to have a very serious talk about this and future commitments with her. And for good measure, I'd be having a brief chat with the future in-laws to the effect of, "Hi there. Your words and actions toward my daughter recently were totally unacceptable, and it's my understanding you were told of the sensitivity of the situation beforehand. I will be part of your family in the future. I will be treating your sensitive issues with discretion and gentleness, because I care for and respect your family. I expect that to be reciprocated. If you are unable to treat my daughter with sensitivity, discretion, and respect, then I will have to carefully consider what exposure she and I have to you. I'm ready to hear your apology, if you have one to give." I admire how you and your daughter reacted. She didn't immediately storm out, but took time to gauge her feelings. Very healthy response from both of you. This is 100% not okay. Your fiancé does not love your daughter. No one would tolerate such a hurtful comment without correcting it, even gently if she thought it was a joke. NTA. Wow. NTA, and good for you for leaving with Judy. Ask your fiancé if there's a chance they could Photoshop her and her disgusting mother out of wedding photos. Honestly, this is breakup material. Not only did she allow her mother to say that and didn't intervene, she called you disrespectful. Do not subject yourself and your daughter to this woman and her family. NTA, Christ on a bike. Who does that to a kid? Honestly, good man for getting her out of that situation. I'm not loving how casual your fiancé is with how Mill was getting on. That was so out of line, it was parallel. Mill made your kid feel like she was going to spoil the whole look of the wedding. As a parent of women, I'm beside myself with disgust at the Mill. I'd think long and hard about that wedding. NTA. You really need to rethink whether or not this wedding is viable. The fact that your fiancé didn't have your back after such periodness on her mother's part is a significant red flag. I'm not sure what planet her mother's talking points were considered polite in a conversation, but it ain't Earth. The fact that your fiancé attacked your daughter's mental health because your daughter got uncomfortable is shocking. NTA. Please don't marry someone who condones photoshopping your child's so-called imperfections out of your wedding pictures. Shame on her. How sick. I have a similarly large scar across my forehead from an accident. It took me years to come to terms with it and accept it. A comment like that would have hurt, especially if I had still been a child. Poor thing. Agree. For me, this would be my hill to die on. If I was the daughter, I couldn't live in the same house with someone knowing they didn't defend me and belittled my understandable anxiety about the scar. In a world that revere perfection, she going to need all the support she can get. You made it very clear to your fiancé that topic was off the table. She knew it was off limits, and how it makes your daughter feels. The second her mom mentioned it, your fiancé should have told her own mother to stop the conversation. The fact that she knew your daughter was in therapy for this, and her mom brought up photoshopping away her insecurity, and she still said nothing, is disgusting. NTA.